Could not have said that any more slow and epic, could you?
You are a slow and epic guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, look on my CV. That's practically, all that lists me.
Yep. I should know. I've written it. So, Tommy, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, good morning.
It's just another day in Sci-Fi September, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just another day at the office, you know.
It's a very special one, though. It's my sister's birthday today, Tommy.
Oh, happy birthday to your sister. How old is she? Oh, have I put you? Have I put you on the spot?
You didn't even wait for me to respond to that.
Have I put you on the spot like you can't remember?
No, I'm actually. Do you know? I'm going to start this one out. I'm going to say you never reveal a lady's age on air.
Oh,
Hey!
consider me trumped.
And consider me
Saved.
Disowned as a brother, to be honest. That's what I was going to say. But anyway, it's not about that. It's about let's focus back. Sci-Fi September.
Yes,
Tommy, what is on the cards today?
I figured I'd like to talk about the first ever sequel to the Star Wars saga.
Yeah.
That is The Empire Strikes Back, or some people might know it as Star Wars Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, yep.
Because afterwards the prequels came out and then they changed the numbers of what episodes they are.
It's like a complicated game of countdown.
It very much is. Basically, the movies came out in 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. That's the order that the movies came out in.
Fair enough.
So this film came out in 1980, and it's rated U, so all ages can watch it.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yep, well, it's definitely rated for you.
It's safe for me, yay!
Yeah, it's safe for you. It won't frighten you, Dan, don't worry. So The Empire Strikes Back takes everything you loved about the first film and puts it under the microscope. For me, this film does everything that a sequel should do, which is as follows. So, to know that the introduction of the characters is done, so all that is to be done now is pure storytelling. And that is something that every sequel should abide by. So you've introduced all the characters, you know who they are, let's figure out some more about them. Let's actually get into the meat of who these people are. Which I'm sure you can relate to on a level with films that you've seen like Toy Story 2 or Shrek 2 or something.
Exactly the film I was thinking of, Toy Story 2. A classic in its own right, of course.
Yep, definitely. Don't try and go bigger than the previous film. Go deeper than the previous film. The audience follows the characters across the course of the franchise, so let's find out more about them. So what that basically means is don't just do another carbon copy of the first movie. Just do something completely different and explore the characters, because I'm sure that it's just more interesting. That's why I love sequels so much, because it is more interesting to find out more about these characters, more so than when you first meet them even.
Yep.
And I also wrote to subvert expectations. Example, for The Empire Strikes Back in particular, have the major battle sequence in the first act of the movie instead of the third. So they have this huge big battle on this ice planet and at the start of the movie. And then after that, there's not really any action sequences for the rest of the film. After that, it's just all about character and story and plot twists that are near the end.
Which is deeper.
Absolutely. This was not my favourite Star Wars film growing up, but as you grow older, you view films and life in general, I guess, in a different light, and I cannot deny the storytelling brilliance that went into this picture. The first film is the brawn, but Empire is the brains, with characters making choices and shocking revelations that keep you glued to your seat. The off-the-chart ending is so jaw-dropping. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It is so jaw-dropping that I simply would not have had the patience to wait 3 years for the third film if I was alive in 1980. So to close, in my opinion, this film is the best Star Wars film, the best sci-fi film ever made, and ranks in my top 10 films of all time, which I am not afraid to say. And then to follow that on with a little quote from the movie, you will be. You will be. And on that note, got to rate this movie 5 stars out of 5, Dan. It's in my top 10 for a reason, and it certainly earns that mark.
I was going to rate your Yoda impression there, but I think actually we'll leave that out. just cut that from the programme. Well, Tommy, thank you very much for another entry into Sci-Fi September. We are looking forward as to what you've got for us next week, so make sure your ears are glued to this very station, you.
How many more weeks have we got left of Sci-Fi September?
I knew you were going to ask that. I was just looking at the calendar.
I'm terrible at keeping track.
You are awful. We've got one more, Tommy.
Just the one? Wow.
Just the one.
Oh, wow. Okay, better make it a good one.
Yes.
I've got to think of something to top what we've just talked about, because I love that film so much.
Well, you gave that one a 5-star. You had Back to the Future as well.
Yes, yeah.
The
World's End. The World's End. How much did I give that last week? I think I gave it 4, didn't I?
You gave it 4. So you have.
It's been a very optimistic month, really.
It has. You've got a lot to. You basically got your work cut out if you're going to top it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of work cut out. Well, Tommy, thank you very much for that, and I'm looking forward to October.
October. I mean, it's
coming.
I mean, don't you agree? Like, just touching briefly on what we spoke about with The Empire Strikes Back. Do you prefer sequels, or do you think there are more originals out there that are better? Think of all the films that you like Toy Story, Cars, Shrek.
I have thought about this in the past. I think my opinion of it would be, you can't say a sequel's better than the original, and you can't say an original's better than the sequel for this very reason, Tommy. One would not exist without the other. Think about it. If you've got one film, like, I don't know, Ratatouille, that is just one film. You haven't seen that, have you?
Oh, I've seen Ratatouille.
Oh, okay.
I love Ratatouille.
Okay, no, there's another Pixar film you haven't seen. Oh, what was it? Cars.
Cars.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was up there somewhere. I knew it was Pixar. But anyway, Ratatouille, right? In its own right, great film. There's no sequels to it. There's nothing spun off it. That is just a one. But you wouldn't necessarily call that an original, as in original compared to a sequel. It's just like original story, maybe. But
yeah. It's a standalone movie
standalone.
that doesn't warrant a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
whereas you look at something like The Incredibles, for example, where the first film is just so great. And the second film, despite, in my opinion, not being as good as the first one, it's still a credible film because you find out more about these characters. You go deeper.
You get to see something a bit different because obviously it wasn't. We were just going to ramble on if we were not careful. Basically, I think overall, let's go back to the Toy Story example, right?
Yeah.
Toy Story 1, I wouldn't say I prefer the first Toy Story over the second. I wouldn't say I prefer the second over the first. Okay, the second, you got some new characters, but you also, again, it was a deeper, heartfelt story. You had these key characters. They were split up. Yep. You had this adventure. Again, new characters. You had the element of danger as well.
Yep.
You had everything in that.
That's what I love about sequels. I love it that you can take characters that weren't interacting in the first movie, and then you put them together in the sequel.
Equally, right? Buzz and Woody were friends throughout number 2. They hated each other in number 1. So actually, there's character building times 2, if you like.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you get to see what they're like as enemies and as friends. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually, one would not exist without the other.
That's a very good, in detailed answer there, Dan.
Thank you.
I credit your answer right there.
That's because I've given it some real thought.
It really
We've
is.
had a lot of traffic jams in Felixstowe lately, and I think about these things.
We still need to see if we can fit Toy Story into a review one month, don't we?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Tommy, thank you for joining me this morning. You're back in a minute because we've got that brain hurty hanging over our heads. What exists when one person has it but ceases to exist when another person gets it?